We're basically scraping the barrel now when it comes to the ministers, and they just get worse each time. I kind of miss Theresa May.
She's just been a disaster from day one, really.
Which is a bit of a shame because I was looking forward to good things from her. I quite wanted her to get in.
Yes!
It's what needed. It was what was needed.
Yeah.
Right. It's step one. Step two is that we get a general election. We get
Yes.
the people to actually
Choose
our
a
future.
leader for a change, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody, anybody.
Yeah. Just not Boris, please.
No.
As it's happening, it's actually quite sad, you know? It's anticlimactic. It doesn't really totally resolve anything. It's just the beginning of moving on to the next phase.
I think it's a good move.
I'm delighted.
It was really not surprising. The whole cabinet is just fallen like a pack of dominoes, really. It was just inevitable.
And how does that make you feel?
It's just really disappointing that we're basically scraping the barrel now when it comes to the ministers, and they just get worse each time. I kind of miss Theresa May. She was doing a fantastic job, actually, given the circumstances, and I'm not even, a Tory supporter. It's just, who's next? We need an election. There's no one else they can pick, especially now, given the circumstances as well. We need some stability, and everything seems to be crashing around our ears. And you just think, when is it going to end?
Surely they've got to call an election now, general election. They can't in one term have three different prime ministers.
And if they call a general election, Labour will get in easily, I would think.
I think they're doomed.
The stronger powers of the Conservative Party will step forward and take the lead and lead us through to the next general election in 2 years' time.
Do you think the general election is going to be in 2 years' time, or is it going to be a bit sooner than that?
I think it will be sooner, and I would like to see the Labour Party having a chance.
I think this is just going to force people into wanting a general election more, because they'll have another leader in the space of 7 weeks, and it's one that's going to be forced upon them by the MPs and not the members. So more people are going to want the election to make that choice themselves.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the only thing that can happen is a general election. People have changed their minds on Brexit. They've changed their minds on, all kinds of things. The strikes. A few months ago, people weren't supporting them because they were, slightly inconvenienced. But now, public support has moved towards that because it's like the position is untenable. People are at their they're at their wits' end. There's nothing else they can do. And I think public sentiment with a lot of things is changing. And the only way that you can reflect that with policy is by changing the government.
If I was them, I'd be preparing to be a strong opposition, because you better get started on that rather than keep working on this, I would think.
This is time for us to radically look at how we run our politics, really, and I think the Conservative Party needs to look at what they stand for and how they actually represent and engage people who are, the ordinary citizens of this country.
How has this impacted your relationship with politics?
If anything, I'm more energised.
Yeah? How come?
Because I think anybody can do a better job than this.
As a Tory, I've left the party. I wouldn't vote for them again, because they've just lost all credibility, in my opinion. I don't see a party that stands in the centre ground anymore. Labour moves left or right depending on the day, and then the Tories just seem to be moving further to the right with everybody who gets in.
I'm more interested in Labour than I used to be. I wasn't Conservative before, I was another option, but the idea of Labour as actually a party representing the people, to get things done for the people, is more compelling over the last few months than it's been in the rest of my life.
It's time.
About why you left the Conservative Party and when you left?
Mainly because of Boris Johnson. I didn't agree with his policies on immigration. I didn't agree with his Brexit stance. Changing between remain or leave depending on who he thought was going to win. It just all seems a bit like he was just on the fence for everything. And then when he knew Leave was going to win, put all his money in the hat there, and then knew he was going to be Prime Minister against Hunt. That was a shoo-in. And then tried to do what he thought was he could get away with, and then scandal after scandal, no apologies, naff all, and then just decided to leave and go on holiday.
So do you feel like what's happened with Liz Truss and her government that sort of cemented that again?
Yeah, definitely.
I think we're a laughing stock all over Europe, so it's done untold damage internally and externally.
Yeah. Makes me feel really angry. I think the levels of inequality in this country are shocking. I think it's contributing to increased deprivation, mental health problems. I worry about the generation as it comes up, how they're going to manage this.
Do you think there's anything that can persuade you to join back, or do you think that you're done?
Maybe somebody like Cameron or Theresa May, somebody who's a bit more left of where we are at the moment.
Cameron looks like a good idea now, doesn't it? Isn't that awful?
Even Theresa May looks like a good idea, and it's just I'd rather see somebody like that in power who's somebody who knows what they're doing. They've got some sort of credibility about them. That's the only way I'd go back.
And as a young person, how do you feel about your future? Are you worried about it?
Yeah, it's completely uncertain. I've got loads of friends now. Their mortgages have been cancelled. People are finding it increasingly difficult to rent. There's hiring freezes everywhere across the board. People can't pay their bills. A lot of us are in a position where we can't turn to family, or we are supporting our family members. And I remember I was speaking to my friends about this. Like when we were younger, we grew up with the earlier recession as well. When that was our parents' problem, you know, we were happy at home going, oh, can I have another yogurt, Mum? Yeah, sure, no problem. And now we're the ones having to make the decision about whether to have that extra, you know, own brand thing or the normal brands that we're used to, because every penny counts now.
I think it's dreadful at the moment. It's really in a poor state, the country.
Well, let's hope it improves one way or the other, either with the Conservatives or Labour.